All right, everyone. A couple of minutes after the top of the hour, and so thank you all for joining us today. This webinar is being recorded, so it can be posted to our YouTube channel. And if you happen to be catching this webinar recording on YouTube, make sure to smash that thumbs up button and give us a like, and also make sure you subscribe to the ATG USA YouTube channel so that you can stay up to date with all of the content that we continue to release and roll out through the YouTube platform. But today, we're going to be introducing and talking about the new Autodesk Construction Solutions software bundles. There's been a very slight change. I had intended on having my colleague Lisa Stein from the Autodesk Construction Solutions team joining us, but unfortunately she was called away from the office for a few days and wasn't going to be able to make it. So I'm going to welcome my guest for today's webinar, Mr. Ben LaForce. He'll be joining us and helping out with the webinar today. So for those of you that may not have worked with me in the past, my name is Kyle Lee. I am our Senior Construction Solutions Specialist here at ATG USA. Been working with ATG for about 8.5 years and heavily focused in the Autodesk cloud-based products, M360 platform, and now the Autodesk Construction Cloud Unified platform. Been using those solutions for about the past 5 years. So today, again, we're going to be talking about the new software bundles and how they can assist your team. But before we dive into that, I'm going to give Ben just a minute or two to introduce himself as well. So Ben, go right ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Kyle. Yeah, appreciate you guys giving me the chance to fill in for Lisa here. I will do my best. So I'm the construction partner specialist for ATG. I'm over here at Autodesk, and I've been doing this for about the last year now. And so what that means is I, support ATG for all of their construction business. I support their reps, I support their customers, and just make sure the processes really both before the sale and after are smooth and successful. And so before that, I was also with Autodesk for 3 years on the design side. And that was a good intro to that side of things. But I always, really like the construction side. It's obviously growing. There's a lot going on, and excited to be here. So thanks, Kyle.
Awesome.
And yeah, no, for sure. I was just going to say, I appreciate you bringing up the bundles too, because it's such a hot topic for, really what we're doing and what we're focusing on now. They've just been introduced in the last really 6 months. There's a ton of value in these bundles, and it's really something we're focusing on now, because what it does is it connects the workflows, right? You don't have the gaps that you have if you buy just one or two individual products. So yeah, glad you're covering these, and thanks a lot, Kyle.
Awesome. Great, Ben. All right, team. So as we jump in today, one thing that I want everybody to understand is we're going to be covering the bundles at a very high level today. Okay. We have 3 different bundled solution packages that are now available. And so again, the intention is just to give you a high level overview of what those packages are, typical users for those different bundle packages, and kind of the key benefits or takeaways that we can see as clients begin to leverage these bundles more and more. If there is interest in taking a deeper dive into each of the packages and taking a closer look at the individual softwares that are included in those, please let us know, because your feedback will absolutely have an impact on our ability to bring that more in-depth conversation in future webinars as well. So if that's something that you might be interested in, please feel free to drop a comment in the chats area here in today's webinar, or feel free to reach out to your designated sales representative here at ATG, or you can use our sales@atgusa.com email address to drop us a line there also. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's jump in. Let's talk about the different bundled software packages. So again, as I mentioned, we have 3 different bundled packages here, and they're made up of the pre-construction bundle, the VDC bundle, and the construction operations bundle. And as I mentioned a moment ago, for each of those, we're going to talk about typical users as well as what's included in each one of the software packages. Okay. So let's go right into the pre-construction bundle.
Yeah, so this is good place to start. So the pre-construction bundle was actually the first bundle that we launched last year, and this really includes different software, which Kyle will show you guys in a second. That's really on the pre-construction phase of the planning and of the workflow, and so it really includes all most of our planning tools. But the one I wanted to call out especially is ProEst, which is our new estimating software acquisition that we made just a couple months ago. And this has been a huge gap that we had that we filled because we got a lot of customer feedback that, yeah, you have great, takeoff tools and great planning tools, but this really doesn't tie the dollars and cents into what we're doing. And we've finally got that, and we've got that piece, and that's included in this bundle. And this is actually the only way to really get into this ProEst tool. So excited to take a closer look at this. But yeah, I'll turn over to you, Kyle.
Yeah, and so the main thing is that these bundles are really intended to empower contractors to quickly, predictably, and confidently move from design into the construction phases. So let's take a quick look at some of the typical users of the pre-construction bundle. We're really looking at these based on kind of a title or a role that those people might play in the organization. So we see these really being leveraged heavily by estimators, bid managers or bid coordinators, your pre-construction managers or pre-construction directors, project managers, and most importantly, risk managers as well. Okay. And so as we move into here, let's take a look here. So again, multiple pre-construction solutions, one pricing. Okay. So the way that this works, and this is the same for all of the different bundles. And so you'll see a very similar slide presented for each of the bundles that we're going to be talking about. But again, the way that this works is it's flexible account-based pricing. Okay, there's not published pricing for these bundled packages, and the reality of it is, and one thing that we failed to mention as we kick things off is these are bundled packages that can only be brought to the table through the ACS team in conjunction with their Autodesk Construction Elite partners, which ATG is a Construction Elite partner. But again, there's not published pricing. All of this is looked at as the flexible account-based pricing model. But the key to that is it gives you some very unique scenarios here. It gives you the ability to make these products available, these solutions available to an unlimited number of users. So you can add as many users as you need to the products. Again, this is really going to help with improving the collaboration and transparency across the organization, and more importantly, across the entire project team. So when we say unlimited users, we're not just talking about unlimited users within the firm that may purchase one of these different bundled packages. Those that unlimited users does apply to the fact that you can actually assign these products or grant access to these products or solutions to people both within your office as well as outside of your office that make up the project team as a whole. Because really that's where we get the most value there, is having that increased collaboration, that increased communication across everyone on the project team, not just one particular firm. The other thing that's unique about this with the flexible account-based pricing is you also have the ability to leverage this on an unlimited number of projects. Okay, so that's one thing that's very unique about the Autodesk Construction Cloud and many of the Autodesk Construction Solutions is you're not purchasing access to an amount of data that you can leverage or utilize on the cloud. So as your business grows, as your projects grow, you'll be able to support that growth. You'll be able to support that growth through the ability to extend these products and these solutions across, again, to your organization as well as your extended project partners. So most importantly, again, unlimited users with all of these packages and the ability to leverage them on an unlimited number of projects while you have that contract in place. So when we talk about the pre-construction bundle here, the different solutions that are included are going to be Building Connected Pro, Bidboard Pro, TradeTap, ProEst, as well as Autodesk Takeoff. And just want to reiterate one of the things that Ben mentioned just a moment ago, the fact that ProEst is the most recent acquisition of the ACS team, and bringing that one missing key piece into the solution to kind of round out the platform's capabilities, you might say. And also, as Ben mentioned, at this point, this is the only way that new users would be able to access that ProEst product, is through this pre-construction bundled package here. Okay. Now, some of the key benefits that teams have started to realize as part of use of these bundle packages is the ability to increase your win rate on the projects that you're going out and competing for. the ability to improve your bid efficiency, quickly turn around bids, and therefore be able to bid on more projects. The ability to reduce your project risk by understanding which projects you might be going after, and also having some visibility or insight into projects that you may or may not want to go after, given the potential risk there, okay? And again, most importantly, the ability for firms to be able to expand their service offerings to their clients as well. So now let's talk a little bit about the fact that, focus solutions to deliver key benefits here. So on the left-hand side here, we see the different products that are included in the bundled package: ProEst, Autodesk Takeoff, and Building Connected. Building Connected is made up of that trade tap as well as Building Connected Pro. But where this all really starts is with the Autodesk Takeoff product. And with that product, you can extract your quantity takeoffs, whether we're talking about extracting quantities from 2D PDF construction document sets or by leveraging 3D models. Then we can take that into the next step, which is the utilization of ProEst to put real dollars and cents to those quantities that you've taken off from the design deliverables, from your CDs. And again, whether those are 3D models or 2D takeoffs, we can leverage either or to extract our quantities, pull that into ProEst to put the dollars and cents to the project and to get an understanding of what our project budget should look like. And then we can start to leverage the different tools from the Building Connected suite to help manage our bids and manage the not only the individual project bids, but all of our projects that we're bidding on, as well as helping us to better qualify and understanding the qualification around projects and which ones we may want to go after versus ones that we may not want to go after. Having the ability to understand, what that profitability ratio might be on a project is key in understanding, hey, do we really want to take on a project like this, or do we have the ability to maybe go after a different project where we have a potential for having a higher profit margin overall at the end of project completion there. And again, really, this is intended to help you to win more business, increase your efficiency with your bidding, and most importantly, reduce risk by understanding the scope of the projects that you're going to be bidding on. All right, Ben.
Yeah. So to really put a bow on the pre-construction bundle, what it's really all about is getting the customer as many tools as possible to be successful before there's really ever a shovel put in the ground. And that's what this bundle does for you. It really ties everything together. It really streamlines that workflow so you don't have the gaps, there's no questions, and you're really covering each step to minimize the risks, to make sure you're going to be as successful as possible. And I just want to hit one more time on the bundles. And Kyle already touched on it well, but as a whole, what we're really trying to do is we're trying to get that connected workflow from really the beginning of that workflow all the way to the end, so you don't have those gaps. And we're trying to do it for roughly the price of 2 products. So with this pre-construction bundle, you're getting 5 products for roughly the price of 2. And so if you're going to buy them individually, it really makes sense, unless you're looking at just one thing and you're working on a niche thing, to look and see if the entire workflow makes sense for you guys. So so that's pre-construction, and definitely has been a hit so far. It's been out for about 6 months now, and I think with the new addition of ProEst in there, it really is taking off even more. So.
Absolutely, really helping to round out that solution and how it really does truly meet the needs of the pre-construction teams that are working on these projects. So great information there, Ben. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So next up is VDC. So we're talking about VDC now. This is actually the one that was just added a couple months ago. And the reason this one's been popular so far is because of Tandem. So Autodesk Tandem is a product that we really did not sell except to very niche type of companies or universities. And it certainly was not part of any bundles. Now customers, commercial customers can get it as part of this bundle. And so that's one of the big things about the VDC bundle. But it also really, the nice thing is, there's so much from the workflow that you'll see in a minute that covers that's included in this bundle, that it really goes from all the way to the design phase early, all the way through to the operation phase. And it's, it gives you that entire tool set. And so I will turn over to you, Kyle.
No, that's great, Ben. I really appreciate that. And that's the key. And anybody that's involved in VDC, they definitely understand, it's all about the power of the model. But we also know that with changes that do take place throughout the course of a project, sometimes it's, changes that are requested by the owner after we may have gotten through the design phase, but we see that what was designed very well can be different than what is actually delivered. And that VDC team, it's so important for them that they're able to understand those changes, track those changes, and update those changes in the 3D model so that we can, again, leverage that model downstream through the actual building life cycle from a facilities management standpoint as well. So what are some of the typical users that we see leveraging the VDC bundle? Well, we see a lot of these fall right into the VDC titles, the VDC specialists or VDC managers or directors, also pre-construction managers and pre-construction directors, as well as coordination managers or coordination directors, but also anyone that's responsible for helping to manage that as-built model that is going to be leveraged and handed over to the owner with the intention of being able to have that incorporated to their facilities management system that they're utilizing. Okay, so again, very similar slide, multiple VDC solutions, all in one price. And again, if you're interested in understanding more about the pricing, please reach out to our sales team. They'll be able to work with the Autodesk Construction Solutions rep for your area, or that may be specific to your account based on your account itself, but to have that conversation and to understand which packages make the most sense for your team, and also to help you better understand what that pricing may look like, because that is going to be unique in all scenarios and for all different firms. Okay, so we understand it's the flexible account-based pricing model. No need to repeat all of that information, but let's really talk about what are the solutions that are included. So with the VDC solutions, you're going to get access to BIM Collaborate, Tandem, and Assemble. Okay, and now one thing that I failed to mention even in the pre-construction bundle, but I will mention it here. So in the pre-construction bundle, it includes Autodesk Takeoff. That also grants you access to Autodesk Docs within the Autodesk Construction Cloud Unified Platform as well. Same way here. The BIM Collaborate, that's also going to grant you access into Autodesk Docs within the unified platform. And that's your central source of truth. Okay, that's your common data environment there. But I think it's important to call that out, that while, we're saying that the solutions included are BIM Collaborate, Assemble, and Tandem, it does also include Autodesk Docs as well. Okay, and then also here you can see that Navisworks and Autodesk Point Layout can be made available through additional entitlements that can be included with your BIM Collaborate licensing that's a part of this bundle. Okay, so if those are products that your team has leveraged in the past or possibly leveraging currently, they can definitely be granted with an entitlement if you do opt to go with the VDC package there, VDC bundle. So what are some of the key benefits here? We're really looking to maximize that VDC value there. Okay, we're trying to enable flexible workflows that really span throughout the entire project lifecycle. And again, and most importantly, look at ways that your team can expand your service offerings. I think that's a great area where Tandem comes into play, because really Tandem is taking your 3D model, your 3D geometry, and being able to pull that over into basically creating what's called a digital twin of your design model, or actually your updated as-built model. And so it's being able to take the important aspects of that model, again, the 3D geometry, the understanding of the spaces in the model itself, also understanding of things like assets in the model, and being able to pull those over into a more lightweight 3D model that may be, taking out some of the design elements that really aren't going to be as important when you feed them forward into a facilities management system, but still giving you all of the important information around things like your assets, different pieces of equipment, or different systems within the building itself that are going to be important from the standpoint of maintenance and operations there. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about what these solutions include and how they really help to bridge that gap from design to operations. So with Autodesk BIM Collaborate, it's going to give you access to a couple of different modules within the Autodesk Construction Cloud Unified Platform. Okay. One of them that's not mentioned on there that I just mentioned a moment ago is Autodesk Docs, but also you're going to have access to the design collaboration module, which gives you the ability to track the design changes, put together packages, and manage packaging of information that's released across the design of the project and moving into, pre-construction and execution of the project itself. Also, and one of the important ones here is model coordination for doing automatic clash detection and being able to understand where those clashes are taking place within the design process so they can be remedied long before we ever get to a point of moving into pre-construction, long before we ever get to a point of breaking ground on the project itself. We want to eliminate all of those issues, number one, so we don't have rework on the project site, but most importantly, that also has an impact on our ability to successfully and accurately do quantification takeoffs and therefore put together estimates as well. Okay. The system includes an issues ecosystem. So as we identify clashes that may have been identified between different discipline models, we can we can create issues that are then assigned to the different teams, giving those teams the information they need about changes that need to be made in their design model to eliminate said clashes. And again, have us moving from the design portion into pre-construction with fully vetted models that we know are ready to move towards the construction process itself. And again, it's mentioned there at the very bottom, the document management module right there as well. Within Autodesk Assemble, we have the ability to do things like model conditioning. Okay, so within a Revit model, we have our own Revit parameters. When we pull it into Assemble, we only have the ability, basically we only have certain parameters that we can set up inside of Revit, but then we may want to take that a step further and be able to put in our own different inputs, different information about the model or the model elements. And we're able to do that within Assemble. Things like phasing for construction, things like, installation progress for specific systems or specific portions of the project. We can break that out by levels, by specific areas, and therefore be able to understand, it's down at the bottom there, that work in place tracking. Also with Assemble, we can really very quickly and easily understand change analysis between different versions of the Revit models as well. And Assemble can also provide you with the ability to extract 3D takeoffs from the Revit models that get loaded into the system there. And it does that 3D takeoff automatically when you load a model in there. It just starts to spit out the quantities based on the Revit elements themselves there. And then we take it into Autodesk Tandem. And again, Autodesk Tandem is really going to be more about being able to specify your asset requirements, being able to tell people, being able to understand from the owner's perspective and from the maintenance and operations perspective of the building, what information do we need to have about the asset so we can set up those requirements. We can also filter asset data very quickly and easily within Tandem. Also, we can automate the data correlation between the design models into the digital twin models. And most importantly, being able to track our asset history and what's taken place with those assets, and really more from the standpoint of after construction is completed and more so into, again, the owner's maintenance and operations of the facility moving forward from there. So Ben, I'm gonna let you handle this slide here.
Yeah, great. And I wanted to say too, I'm glad you mentioned the docs piece before. I did notice it was, kind of not included, and it's just, we're so used to it being included with everything, but it is the foundation of all of this. It's the foundation of the construction cloud. It's where, permissioning is set. And so yeah, definitely worth a mention. So glad you brought that up.
Absolutely.
So with the typical workflow, really Kyle touched on a lot of it in the last slide, kind of in a different format, but it starts with, the design collaboration at the beginning and really working through, in the typical workflow of the project into that model conditioning where you're going to be breaking down the model, manipulating it as you need, the coordination of the model. And that's a big piece of BIM Collaborate, right? And then into the quantity takeoffs, digital twin where you're going to be really, that's a huge thing from Tandem, right? And so that's a big piece of what's been included in this bundle now, which I think makes it probably, really worth being a bundle, because otherwise you're not really including the entire workflow of the VDC, and then into the asset life cycle. So as I look at this, I say, I think of it as really we're taking the model and we're really extending the value of that, so that you have the information behind it that you really need, and that's really what it's all about. So you can make those decisions intelligently and have the information at your fingertips. So
Absolutely. And what we're really seeing is a move away from the days where we may be leveraging a 3D model during design and leveraging that 3D model for clash detection and possibly coordination, but really, like Ben said, extending the value of that model and being able to pull that model forward through the remainder of the project lifecycle, and then even more so being able to leverage that data downstream with the ownership lifecycle of the building itself as well. So great stuff there, Ben. Thank you so much. So again, here's another slide. What's included? This is very similar to the slide that we looked at just a moment ago, but it gives you a little bit more information about what each of the solutions are able to do. So again, with this Assemble, able to enrich, group, and organize a model to make the design model construction ready with the Assemble product there. Again, these are the same, many of the same points that I'd hit on just a few moments ago. One of the things that we didn't mention was the ability to enable 4D and 5D BIM capabilities within Assemble there as well. With BIM Collaborate, we are able to deliver high quality multi-trade models. And again, it has an issue management ecosystem, automatic clash detection, and controlled package creation process using the BIM Collaborate licensing, as well as, again, the different modules that are included with the BIM Collaborate licensing there. And then last, and I really focus heavily on it and think about, Autodesk Tandem. As Ben mentioned, this is really what sets this bundle apart when you get right down to it. Again, Tandem giving you the ability to specify and capture an accurate as-built descriptive digital twin to provide the owner with the asset, space, and system information that's necessary for operations and maintenance of that building. So again, we're not trying to take all of the heavy, data heavy information that may have been built in during the design process, as much as we're able to kind of strip that down to the most important pieces of that model that the owner can continue to leverage downstream with his operations and maintenance system there. Okay.
Okay, so let's take a look at the final bundle. So this is the operations bundle, and the operations bundle is really the sweet spot of the project management piece and kind of the final phase after that with the closeout. This includes docs, of course, as we talked about, build, which is the project management piece, and then also all four of the versions of pipe. And so that's really important. Pipe is a closeout tool that we acquired last year, and that includes AutoSpecs, Smart Plans, Closeout, and eBinder. And so this, leveraging again docs and the whole common data environment really allows you to manage the entire project using these tools and connect these whole workflows through the handover.
Absolutely. So some of the typical users we see here: project managers, field superintendents, project or trade foremen, okay, submittal managers, as well as the commissioning and handover teams. Okay, again, with that, with the eBinder and some of the tools that are included with Pipe there, I look at AutoSpecs and Smart Plans. Those are really going to help to streamline that submittal manager's process that he utilizes and start to really take away a lot of the manual aspects of managing the submittals for a project and help to automate more of that. So again, what's included here? With the construction operations bundle, you're going to get access to Autodesk Build, as well as Autodesk Docs, Pipe AutoSpecs for your specifications, as well as your submittals. Pipe Closeout, that is the tool that your handover teams, your commissioning teams, they're going to love Pipe Closeout, as well as the eBinder pieces here. Okay, again, the ability to really, pull together all of that important documentation, 3D models, warranty information, spec books, operations manuals, things of that nature, all into one single document that's built out as a PDF that you can then easily hand over electronically to the building owner, and then also smart plans. And really some of the key benefits here with the different solutions in this bundle is the ability to standardize the data, the project data, and really standardize that as you get ready to, not only as you're leveraging things like your submittal process, but also, again, standardizing that data as we get ready for closeout and commissioning. The ability to better connect your workflows that are taking place between the office and the field during the execution process of your project here. Automate your submittals. That's a huge benefit right there, is being able to automate some of those submittal workflows. And again, being able to streamline that closeout process there. Okay. So again, when we look at these products and we put them together, we see that we have Autodesk Build and we have Pipe, and again, all the different flavors, all the different offerings that come within the Pipe umbrella there: AutoSpecs, Closeout, Smart Plans, and eBinder. And so as you can see here, we've got some different screenshots. We can see some screenshots within Pipe right here of the AutoSpecs area, looking at our different submittal information and closeout submittal information. Right here, we're looking at the actual closeout information itself in the Pipe closeout product here. And then we also see some screenshots from some mobile devices of use of the Autodesk PlanGrid Build mobile app, and how they would be able to leverage those tools out on site on a mobile device, as they're not only understanding what's supposed to be taking place on the project, but also capturing information and adding data associated to what's truly taking place on the project site as well.
Great. So yeah, so kind of in closing with the operations bundle, kind of covered most of things here. As you can see, includes Build, which is really the beast of the entire construction cloud, with the project management, cost management, quality and safety, RFIs, time management. It really does it all when it comes to the project management side. Docs, as we've now touched on a few times, and then the entire suite from Pipe. And that really is going to give you, a streamlined, really nice closeout package to present to the owners, or however the closeout is going to look. This is all based on, Docs being the foundation, and really underneath that, not listed on here, but Forge, which allows for a lot of different integrations to be tied into these products, to be tied into the construction cloud, whether that's ERP systems, whether that's accounting systems. And it's really going to allow you to, tie everything together, because the whole idea here is to have all the data in front of you without gaps, so as many people really as possible as you want can access this data, can make smart decisions and be successful. So that's what it's all about. And, a lot of the customers we're seeing start to take advantage of these bundles. Sometimes it'll be somebody that is kind of coming in from scratch, looking at an entire bundle. But more often than not, it's somebody that might already have Docs, or might already have Collaborate Pro even, and they're doing the design side and want to kind of move to the next phase of the project, or they have Build and they're starting to look at other things and how to connect more of their workflows. And this is really the way to do that, is taking a look at these bundles. So appreciate
Absolutely. It. Absolutely. And, you mentioned something there, Ben, and kind of dropping a hint there, you mentioned all of this being built on top of Forge, and some of those integration capabilities that Forge can bring to the table with that open API backend. Not to let too much of the cat out of the bag, you might say, but that's one thing that our next webinar for next month will be focusing on and talking about integration capabilities within the Autodesk Construction Cloud Unified Platform. So not going to go much further than sharing that amount of information right now. Hopefully you'll be able to tune in and join us for that webinar. It's going to be held in June. But, I think that really plays a big portion into how we can really start to leverage the platform more robustly as well. So we're definitely going to talk about that in next month's webinar. But if you do have any questions, if you would like to see a deeper dive into the products included in each of the bundles on a future webinar, please reach out and let us know. I always welcome feedback. And again, if there is enough interest there from our users and from our attendees to actually go in and take a deeper dive and take a more of a technical look at the individual products in each of the bundles, we can definitely look at trying to do that in a future webinar, most likely starting in July, since we know that we've got another webinar that's already kind of scheduled and vetted out for next month. But we can definitely dive into that with you. If you'd like to take a look at this, or you have questions that might be, having a better understanding of how your team specifically can leverage this, or questions about what pricing might look like, please, again, feel free to reach out to us. You can reach out to your dedicated sales rep here at ATG USA, or you can leverage the email address that you see there on the screen, sales@atgusa.com, and we'll get you in touch with the appropriate rep as well as with the appropriate ACS partner, so that we can start that conversation and get your team the answers that they need to understand how they can start to streamline the workflows that are most important to them through the use of the bundles that we've been talking about today. So with that, we certainly appreciate your time today and look forward to, again, any feedback that you may have, and also look forward to seeing you on future webinars. So with that, have a great rest of your day, and let's go out there and make it happen. Thanks so much.
Hey there, thanks for tuning in. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe and check out some of the other content on our channel.